Priests, demons, and haunted mansions, oh my. Sounds like an unused script for The Exorcist. But does this game do its cinematic inspiration true justice? Let's take a look. Hello everybody, this is WarriorDan. Today we're going to be taking a look at a up-and-coming indie game known as the Padre. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. I and a couple other channels did receive a private beta build of the final game from the developer in exchange for promotional coverage. I did not, and have never, accepted paid promotion on this channel, and don't intend to do so anytime in the future. So all opinions in this video are completely my own, but I just wanted to add that quick disclaimer. Also, it is quite likely that between the time of this video and the game's final launch on Steam, the developer may make new changes and bug fixes that may not be reflected in this build, so some of the gameplay footage you're going to be seeing in the background might become antiquated and outdated over time. That said, let's talk about the Padre. The plot for this game is pretty simple and straightforward. Your character, a cranky old priest who has a habit of stating the obvious, stumbles across a missing persons case, and decides to investigate a spooky old mansion, one that is eerily reminiscent of Luigi's Mansion. Yes, Nintendo, I mentioned your game. Please don't try to copyright strike my channel for doing so, I would very much appreciate it. Now from that point onward, it kind of goes downhill for our irascible father of the faith. In this game, you'll have to solve environmental puzzles and fight off malicious ghosts and demons. This is not a game where you can fight off every single apparition that appears to you. Combat is generally a last defense, and not encouraged as much as puzzle solving is. That said, you will get access to several types of weapons to tackle your enemies with. Sadly, my favorite way of dealing with undead enemies, coming in the form of a katana, didn't make the cut, so I'll content myself with bashing my enemies' heads in with the very appropriately named Gordon Crowbar. In case, for some reason, you've been living under a rock for the last 20 years and missed the not-so-subtle Half-Life reference, the Padre contains many clever Easter eggs in its midst, but it does walk a fine line between paying homage to classic movies and games, and developing its own world with compelling lore. The world around you is displayed in colorful, voxelated detail. Personally, I find the voxel-based color shading concerning normally, as many games that adapt the form tend to utilize it in order to hide and/or excuse the game's low-resolution textures and character models. Now initially, this was something that the Padre was guilty of as well, with the game having poorly rendered cutscenes and many other optimization issues in the initial private build. But after I discussed these issues with the developer directly, they almost immediately released a subsequent build that addressed many of these issues. So that said, I no longer have any major issue with the game at that point. Now if these issues were fixed prior to this video, why do I even mention it? Why not just leave it out of the video? Well, because it highlights an important point, one that often goes overlooked when it comes to game development. It shows that the person making this game isn't just developing it to make a quick buck, but also probably because they want to make a good game that people actually enjoy, and also want to buy. I'm not going to deny there's some financial incentive there to fix the game, but I do think they do care about this game. Another major issue I do have with the game at the moment is the inability to rotate the camera, preferably via hotkey, which would make movement a lot easier. Currently, the existing camera system is not really ideal, so I would like to see some minor improvements added in subsequent builds. Also, the inventory system in the game is very confusing. At the start of the game, you have to unlock your front door in order to go out of your apartment and proceed further into the game. In order to do this, you have to find the key, click on it to pick it up, at which point it will appear in your inventory. You then have to walk over to the door, open up your inventory again, find the key, click to equip it, then click on the door, and then the door will open. Now this sounds simple enough, but it is a bit tedious when you actually play it. What I would prefer is a simple RPG-like drag-and-drop system, allowing players to quickly click on the key in my inventory, drag it on screen over the door, and have the door open. This would be a lot more fluid and would allow the player to focus on being immersed in the game rather than being dragged down by unnecessary inventory management. Now you could say I'm being unfairly critical of the Padre, but the way I look at it, I don't see a bad game or one that's not worth supporting. Quite the contrary, I think once you look past a lot of these primary issues I've outlined, this is a game that does have the potential to become a great, cliché, throwback Halloween treat. If I didn't find the game interesting, I wouldn't have written 4 pages of notes highlighting its problems and how it could be made better. I would just ignore the game. Now all this said, I do want to highlight a few bits that I want to give the game credit for, such as the high quality sound effects. When you're talking about a small budget indie horror game, high quality sound effects and music doesn't exactly come to mind. Also, the puzzles are decent, although there aren't enough in my opinion, and I'll be interested to see what new ones are added into the final game. So, now that I've outlined my opinions on the game, let's fine tune that into some basic pros and cons. Some of the pros include pleasant voxel-based art style, high-quality sound effects, clever level design, and intriguing puzzles. Challenging for beginners, but fairly easy for experts of the puzzle game genre. Some of the cons include lack of meaningful camera rotation and odd camera placement, confusing and time-consuming inventory management, combat can feel a bit clunky, and finally, the game's tone is a little bit unclear. It's unclear if this is supposed to be a dark comedy or a horror game. Overall, I am interested to see how the Padre continues to evolve. Currently, it is admittedly a bit of a mixed bag, with fairly fun gameplay, but just a few issues that can hamper the experience for some people. If the cons I listed are eventually addressed in a future update, I do think the Padre could really transform into a really worthwhile voxel-based horror game, something that we don't see a lot of these days. So ultimately, we're going to have to wait and see, but I am hopeful that if the Padre doubles down on its Halloween homages, lightens the tone a little bit more, reworks the combat system, and fixes the camera issues, we could see this game transform into something that's really fun. Also, no monster hunting game is complete without a proper katana. Hint hint, lol. Anyway, that's it for this video. For those of you who are new to this channel, hit the subscribe button to get all my latest content featured in your subscriptions tab, and also hit the notifications button to get manually notified through YouTube or email, whatever you prefer. That way you can get notified directly as soon as a new video goes live. But what do you think of the Padre? An intriguing throwback to the classic horror genre, or just another indie horror game that will be lost among the rest? Share your opinions down in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It always helps me figure out what you guys like and enjoy, so that way I can continue to make this channel even more fun in the future. I've got a lot of great games coming up that I plan to review soon, hopefully before Halloween, so keep an eye out for that. But at any rate, this is WarriorDan signing out. You know the deal. Stay awesome, and peace out.